This is my first dedicated workspace, YouTube filming and editing setup, place for all my camera gear, photo books, writing area, whatever I want, this room is mine. And I feel so stoked to be able to say that because for years on this channel, I have kind of been squished into the corner of different rooms. First of all, I was literally next to my bed in my first flat. Then I moved that into the living room. And then when I moved in with my girlfriend, I was also once again kind of squished into the corner of that living room. So I never had space just for all of my stuff, and I want to show you around. I want to show you my YouTube filming space, the way I have everything rigged up. I want to talk about the lighting, the prints on the wall, my little photo book collection, and everything in between. So without going on too much further, let's talk about it. In August this year, Hannah and I bought our first house, which meant one of the rooms would become my office. This was the state of the room when we bought it. I did quickly set my stuff up so I had somewhere to work, but almost immediately we started stripping it down to the bones and starting fresh. For context, this room is almost exactly 3 meters by 3 meters. So it's not huge, but it's certainly enough for me to have everything I need. The first steps were to remove everything from both the radiators that were in here, the skirting board, the carpet, get the walls plastered, and then we could choose the paint. The green on the wall around me is lichen green from Farrow & Ball. Kind of. Farrow & Ball is very expensive, so we went to B&Q with our sample and they color matched it. I think it's like 99% the same, but way cheaper. We did try a few different samples, and originally I wanted a forest green, pretty much like these camera straps we released earlier in the year. This is like a dark olive forest green, and I'm a big fan of that color. However, from my very little experience doing this sort of thing, any dark color appears very dark once you start painting with it. So we decided to lighten the green up a little bit, and I think what we've achieved here is still somewhat of a cozy vibe, but it leaves the room a little bit more open instead of working in just a complete dark abyss. And I'm pretty happy with it. And here we have the room completely freshened up and ready to decorate. Let's jump into the desk setup first. I needed a space that would accommodate me sitting here for many hours, editing and working in general, but also something that was a huge priority was this filming aspect, because previously I would have to pack up and pack down all of my videos when shooting talking heads like this. However, the way I have everything rigged up with the lighting and the microphone and the camera in the corner, this means it will save me a lot of time. The camera and the setup is always ready to go, kind of like a streaming setup, someone working at the desk and instantly able to film when they need to. So that was something that was a priority to me. So if you're a fellow YouTuber out there or someone that's wanting to start making more content, hopefully you can steal some ideas from the way I have this organized. So let's dive into it. Let's start with the desk. This is a sit-stand desk from FlexiSpot, who have also kindly sponsored this video. I've had this for 5 years now, and I'm almost certain this is from their E7 range of desks. I have absolutely no reason to ever change this. This sit-stand desk is perfect. I have, however, changed the desktop maybe once or twice over the years. I currently have this brown walnut desktop, which is 140 centimeters by 80 centimeters. I think the depth here is very important, as I have my keyboard, mouse, laptop, 27-inch monitor, but also just room for clutter that might make its way around when you're working. The desk is adjustable in size, so if you wanted a wider or smaller desk, you can make it fit. Also, it holds up to 440 pounds. There's a 15-year guarantee, a 30-day risk-free return service, and it can range between 25 inches up to 50 inches. What's not to love about all of that? Moving on to the chair, which is arguably one of the most important aspects of any home office. This is the C7 ergonomic chair from FlexiSpot. This is probably the most versatile chair I've ever used. 5 levels of backrest height adjustment, adjustable seat depth, 3D headrest adjustment, and seat height adjustment. This chair offers a highly personalized experience for multiple users. The highlight here is the lumbar support, keeping your posture solid and not leaving those long editing hours with any backaches. This support can be adjusted in depth, height, and any position to work with you, not against you. I also have this little extra cushion for the lumbar support, which is a really nice touch. If you're looking for a new office chair, this is a perfect option. FlexiSpot are offering a 30-day return policy for you to try it with no risk, and also a 10-year warranty with direct replacement for any damaged parts. Black Friday sale is happening right now, and you can grab the best discount on flexispot.com. and they just launched their new C7 Max model with even more advanced features. Use my code 24BFC7 to save an extra $50 off the C7 chair. Let's now talk about all the stuff mounted here on my desk and this YouTube filming setup specifically. So you guys are sat on top of a iFootage Cobra 3 monopod. From the reviews and the brief research I did, it's one of the best monopods you can buy. And the reason I went for a monopod is that a tripod is just too leggy. So with a monopod, you guys are literally tucked into the corner as far away as possible, meaning I can get this composition and this wide shot with a little bit of depth between me and the background. Because this room isn't massive, I'm kind of restricted with space, but I think this is probably one of the nicest compositions or frames I could find in this room. I am also still figuring that out, so I might change my mind over the coming months and you might see a few different shots over the videos over the next period of time. So monopod in the corner. The next thing I have is a small rig desk mount, which is just out of shot. And at the top of that desk mount is a Amaran Verge LED light. Now, the cool thing about this light is it's totally controllable via my phone. So we're at 20% power right now. Throw that up to 100%. That's pretty ridiculous. Or even just down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. So very easy to control, very easy to customize. If I want to make it warmer, I can do that. If I want to make it cooler, I can do that. The only thing to mention about this light, it's great. It looks like it's fine to me, but it's a small LED panel, and the smaller the light source, the more harsher it might appear. So as opposed to a big a big softbox setup where the light is very diffused and soft, I can't achieve that in this space. Maybe I could spin the light around, put it on full power and make it bounce off of a white sheet so it's a softer light source. But we are really talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% improvements. So no big deal. I'm pretty pleased with how this looks at the moment. And for the microphone, I am using another desk mount podcast arm thing. I will leave it all in the description, exactly what it is. But attached to the end of that mount is the Shure MV7, I think. Shure MV7, yes. Now this is a USB-C microphone, which is very important as that can just be powered straight into my laptop and I can record instantly. I have used the Shure SM7B microphones that everyone uses. I've worked with those microphones many times, but they are XLR, and that would mean the XLR would need to go into something else for that then to go into my laptop. And that was just an extra step that I wanted to remove. And I think this microphone here sounds just as good. It might not technically be as good, but I'm pretty sure it's 98% of the way there. So USB-C microphone that is hooked up to my setup instantly, as well as the Amaran Verge LED light. It's also USB-C. I just love how everything nowadays is USB-C. I feel like we've really reached a milestone. Please, technology people, never change your ports again. This is good. Moving on to some of the hardware, which I've been using for many years now, like my MacBook M1 Pro. Each year when the new one is announced, the M3, M4, M5, it looks snazzy and fun and cool and exciting. I just can't justify upgrading because the M1 Pro has handled everything I've thrown at it, which is mainly just editing thousands of photographs and editing a lot of 4K footage. So as soon as the M1 decides that it can't handle that, then I'll consider upgrading. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And if I'm being honest, I think Apple have completely outdone themselves with their MacBook lineup. They're pretty amazing. We're actually downstairs in the hallway here, but I wanted to show you my NAS setup from Synology, storing all of my files. This is a 5-bay RAID with just over 30 terabytes of storage, specifically the DS1522 Plus model. This is down here because it's connected directly to my router, but I do need to tidy this up a little bit and protect it from the elements maybe. I have previously made a full start to finish photography workflow from how I edit, handle, and organize and back up all of my files, so I'll leave that in the description. But that NAS setup from Synology has been, apart from maybe my laptop and a camera, which is arguably the most important aspect of my work, that NAS setup has been the best thing I've ever done in terms of workflow and organization. So if that's not a good testimonial for you to check it out, then I don't know what else to say. It has been so handy having that in my life. Moving on to my monitor setup, this is the studio display. This is another thing that I probably won't need to change for a long time. It shows beautiful colors and contrast, and it means I'm somewhat consistent between editing photos and videos on my monitor and then when I see stuff on my iPhone as well. Everything here just seems to work together into one seamless ecosystem. And I have tried different monitors over the years. There are plenty of other options, but sometimes they either start to flicker after a period of time or with heavy use, or quite literally not connect very easily to my MacBook. Sometimes, I don't know if it's a MacBook thing, but external monitors and MacBooks they have a dodgy relationships, I've found. So the studio display, the M1 Pro, all of that just seems to be perfect and I have no issues. The keyboard and mouse I've been using have been the same for almost 5 years. This is the Apple Magic keyboard and the MX Master 3S from Logitech. Easily the best mouse I've ever used, and I plan on never switching this out. However, I am sort of tempted to try a mechanical keyboard, something a little bit smaller than what I use at the moment, but something with a little more feedback. Let me know if you have any recommendations on different keyboards. The desk pad is from Balolo. This is all personal preference at the end of the day, but I have tried different types of desk pads before, and this one is my favorite. This light that's sat just behind my shoulder is sometimes on my desk here, just as a little bit of ambient light, and it's a little bit silly. It was less than £20 on Amazon, and it's plastic, and it's not the most classy piece of interior I've ever bought, but I am sometimes editing in the dark with the curtains drawn, and I need a vibe in here, so small shroom-shaped lamp is a vibe. Another addition here that you can't see right now, but it's very easy for me to set up, is my overhead top-down camera view. And this is another small rig desk mount specifically for top-down shots like this. It was pretty cheap if I remember correctly, but it doesn't go too high, so keep that in mind. It's perfectly okay for what I need as long as I use a nice wide-angle lens when filming with it. Let's now talk about the rest of the room behind me: the bookshelf, the cupboard, the prints on the wall, the skateboards, the chair, and the lamp. The main bookshelf and cupboard setup is a Billy bookcase from IKEA. They have a modular design system where you can order a few variations of this Billy setup and decide if you want to add doors or some glass windows or even how many shelves you want included. I wanted the shelves to display all my photo books and be quick access for any camera gear I need. And now I actually have shelf space. I can expand the photo book collection, which I'm very excited to do, and you could probably expect more photo book related videos here on the channel. The small cupboard next to the bookshelf holds all the essentials. Nothing too exciting, but chargers, cables, drives, all those little knickknacks and little bits of nonsense that you collect over the years. Moving on to what I call the small reading corner. This chair is from Wayfair. I'll try find the exact name, but I cannot remember it off the top of my head. I'll put it on screen. I had this at my old place and I was thinking I would get a new chair for this room, but once we put this in here, I just thought, never mind, this works. And then there's a couple of skate decks knocking around. This primitive deck is very cool, however, as it's signed by one of the GOATs, Paul Rodriguez. And behind the chair in the corner is an IKEA lamp. A very simple one, but I thought it didn't look too generic, and it has this vintage style, but remains subtle. For this talking headshot right here, I did originally have the lamp directly behind me. You might have seen that in a previous video, but I think that light might have been too much, or at least a little bit distracting. So I've just positioned it out of shot a little bit, glowing here in the corner. I still need to figure that out a little bit more. I think I have this lighting here sussed out, but lamp, light, practical lighting, I'm going to play around a little bit more with that, but let me know what you think of how this shot looks. Moving on to the prints. The frames are from IKEA, shock. And I went with 3 different sizes for now, just so everything wasn't too uniform. The first print you can see when you walk into the room is this backflip photograph from Croatia taken earlier this year. Just good travel holiday vibes from this one. Then we have a bigger print from New York City earlier this year, taken in April in Central Park. The blossom trees were really kicking off, and this is one of my favorite images I got this year. The white bow in the girls' hair, who are also wearing pink, is so complimentary to the environment. I really managed to be in the right place at the right time for this one. Over to the right, next to my bookshelves, placed neatly in this space above my cupboard, is a smaller print from London. Taken last year, I think this might be what feels like one of my most timeless photographs. It's kind of strange to be a fan of your own work, but the whole mood, composition, and black and white look on this image comes together for something that almost feels like I didn't even take it. Finally, this wall that I'm facing here is still blank, and I originally thought to put the skateboards up on the wall. That could be pretty cool, but I kind of think I want to spam it with stuff. Inspiration from films, TV, music, prints from my friends, prints from my favorite photographers. I could kind of plaster this wall here as an inspiration wall. So let me know if you think I should do that, or if you think I should keep it subtle and in theme with the rest of the room. I might just put the skateboards on there, so let me know. So yeah, that's my space, my YouTube filming, editing, camera hoarding area. This is where I will be spending most of my days, and I'm sure you will become familiar with this room over the next few months and years on this channel. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about everything I have set up here, drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much to FlexiSpot for supporting this video, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.